Genghis Khan, 1162–1227. Genghis Khan, born as Temujin, is often heralded as one of the most formidable conquerors in history. He unified the Mongolian tribes and established the Mongol Empire, which became the largest contiguous empire in history posthumously. The Mongol conquests were marked by widespread destruction. Genghis Khan employed psychological warfare, instilling fear among his enemies to encourage surrender without battle. Towns that resisted were often obliterated, and their populations slaughtered. Notable examples include the invasion of Khwarezmia, where entire cities such as Nishapur were decimated as revenge for the killing of his envoys. Moreover, Genghis Khan instituted a system of mass executions to maintain control over conquered territories. His rule was characterized by a brutal expanse of violence, torture, and complete disregard for human life when it served his objectives. Vlad the Impaler, 1431–1476. He is also known as Vlad Dracula. As a ruler, he was extremely unstable and cruel. Vlad's reign is particularly infamous for his preference for impalement as a form of execution. As a teenager, Vlad had to spend several years as a collateral at the court of the Turkish Sultan. One of the most horrific testimonies says that Dracula liked to have breakfast at the place of execution or the site of a recent battle. There was also a case described when the tyrant ordered his guards to nail the hats of foreign ambassadors to their heads with nails, who refused to take them off when entering the count's chambers. The ambassadors were sent by Mehmed II, and upon learning of this, he went to war against Vlad. Joseph Stalin, 1878–1953. Joseph Stalin, the leader of the Soviet Union from the mid to 1920s until his death in 1953, is frequently cited as one of the most brutal rulers of the 20th century. His policies of collectivization and industrialization transformed the Soviet Union into a superpower, but at an immense human cost. The Great Purge, 1936–1938, epitomized Stalin's brutality. This campaign led to the execution, imprisonment, or exile of a substantial portion of the Communist Party, military leaders, and ordinary citizens deemed enemies of the state. These purges created an atmosphere of fear, ultimately leading to an estimated 700,000 executions. Many people perished in the Gulag system, a network of forced labor camps where inmates faced horrific conditions, harsh labor, and scarce food. Stalin's policies also included the Manto-Maid famine of 1932–1933, principally affecting Ukraine, where millions died as a result of forced collectivization and grain requisition policies. This tragic event, known as the Holodomor, is considered by many historians as a deliberate act of genocide against the Ukrainian people and serves as a testament to Stalin's ruthless ambition. Pol Pot, 1925–1998. Pol Pot, or Salath Tsar, was a Cambodian politician, leader of the Khmer Rouge, and head of the government of Democratic Kampuchea from 1975 to 1979. He committed the bloody genocide of the Cambodian people, when 20% of the country's population, considered by him to be the intelligentsia and bourgeoisie, was exterminated in 4 years. In total, 1.5 million people fell victim to the Khmer Rouge regime. Adolf Hitler, 1889–1945. Adolf Hitler, the dictator of Nazi Germany, his regime, responsible for the onset of World War II and the genocide known as the Holocaust, deployed terror on an industrial scale. Hitler's rise to power ushered in a wave of aggression characterized by extreme nationalism, anti-Semitism, and militarism. The Nazi regime executed 6 million Jews. The establishment of concentration camps saw the normalization of brutality, where torture, medical experimentation, and mass executions became routine. Hitler's aggressive policies led to the deaths of tens of millions during World War II. François Duvalier, 1907–1971. Haitian dictator, permanent president of Haiti from 1957 to 1971. Banned all parties, trade unions, and public organizations in the country. Imprisoned all priests who refused to glorify him in their sermons. Taking advantage of the popularity of the voodoo cult in Haiti, he positioned himself as a powerful sorcerer. He could freely shoot the population without trial or investigation. The most sophisticated and favorite of his tortures was placing the guilty party in a box with blades. Caligula, Gaius Julius Caesar, Augustus Germanicus, 12 AD to 41 AD. Roman Emperor Caligula whose reign lasted from 37 AD until his assassination in 41 AD, has become synonymous with sadism, extravagance, and tyranny. According to some sources, Caligula's madness began after he survived a serious illness to encephalitis. Using his power, he indulged all his inhuman whims. He had intimate relations with female relatives and arranged bloody orgies. During fights, he threw spectators into the arena to be eaten by wild animals, executed common people left and right, and even forced close relatives to kill each other. Jean-Bedel Bokassa, 1921 to 1996. President of the Central African Republic from 1966 to 1976. Emperor of the Central African Empire from 1976 to 1979. One of the most eccentric dictators of the 20th century, Jean-Bedel Bokassa, who took power in 1966, was not only a sadist, murderer, and tyrant, but also the most famous high-ranking cannibal. Once, as part of the celebration of Mother's Day in 1971, Bokassa released all female prisoners and ordered the execution of men convicted of crimes against women's honor. Here are the main methods of pacifying the dissatisfied that Bokassa used: feeding them to crocodiles, running them over in trucks, tearing them apart. Idi Amin, 1925 to 2003. Idi Amin ruled Uganda from 1971 to 1979, a period marked by brutality and repression. Desiring power and control, Amin utilized terror to consolidate his regime, with an estimated 300,000 people killed during his rule. Ethnic minority groups, political opponents, and anyone accused of dissent were at risk of execution. Additionally, Amin's expulsion of the Asian population in 1972, largely targeting Uganda's Indian and Pakistani communities, led to economic devastation. Suleiman I, 1494 to 1566. Suleiman IV, known as Suleiman the Magnificent, is often lauded for his military acumen, architectural advancements, and legal reforms during the peak of the Ottoman Empire. However, his rule was also marked by brutality, particularly towards those he perceived as threats to his power or the empire. Suleiman expanded the empire through significant military conquests, and he did not shy away from brutal tactics in conquering territories. His reign included forced conversions, executions, and the establishment of a judicial system that could be arbitrarily applied, inflicting terror on non-compliant subjects. Furthermore, Suleiman's personal life was also marked by tragedy and violence, including the execution of his beloved son, Mustafa, on charges of treason. Nero, Claudius Caesar, Augustus Germanicus. AD 54 to AD 68, Nero assumed power over the empire at the age of 16. At first, he behaved quite modestly, and after 5 years, a period of not so much rule as despotism began. He accidentally killed his first wife and executed the second, killed political opponents, and arranged bloody showdowns with everyone who came to hand. In addition, he continued the tradition of incredible orgies forgotten since the reign of Caligula. As is known from the writings of the historian Suetonius, there was not a single place on Nero's body that he did not desecrate, participating in impromptu weddings with eunuchs and concubines. Mao Zedong, 1893 to 1976. Mao Zedong, the founding father of the People's Republic of China, instituted policies that led to massive famine, societal upheaval, and the loss of millions of lives across the country. Particularly during the Great Leap Forward, 1958 to 1962, Mao attempted to rapidly industrialize China through enforced communal farming and agricultural reforms. The implementation of these policies resulted in one of the deadliest famines in history, with estimates of deaths ranging from 15 to 45 million. Throughout this period, the government suppressed information about the famine, and cannibalism became distressingly common as desperate communities struggled to survive. Henry VIII Tudor, 1491 to 1547, founder of the Anglican Church. He launched the most brutal repressions in order to force the English clergy to the new order. According to historians, during his reign in Britain, 376 monasteries were destroyed, and more than 70,000 people were executed and burned at the stake. Tamerlane, 1336 to 1405, a Central Asian Turkic commander and conqueror, founder of the Timurid Empire. During his campaigns of conquest, he killed countless people, often with extreme cruelty. Thus, on his orders, about 2,000 residents of the city of Isfisor, which fell under his onslaught, were walled up alive. In Georgia, 10,000 people, including women and children, were thrown into the abyss in one day before his eyes. Incidentally, Genghis Khan was a role model for Tamerlane. Modern historians regard his crimes as calculated genocide. Leopold II, 1835 to 1909. Leopold II was the second king of Belgium and ruler of the Congo. He succeeded his father Leopold I in 1865 and managed to retain power. His reign in the Congo was one of the most scandalous in history. Leopold seized an area of Africa 76 times larger than modern Belgium. More than 3 million Congolese citizens fell victim to his regime. Thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe to the channel, and check out my other videos. There's still a lot of interesting stuff. See you later.